Today, I want to talk about a trade that keeps Giannis in Milwaukee. It involves the Jazz, obviously the Bucks. Let's talk about it. It's the Hoops Nerd Show. All right, guys, this is a trade I really like. This is something that could save the Bucks, give them something that can help them retool around Giannis Antetokounmpo, because the biggest goal for the Bucks right now has to be keeping Giannis in Milwaukee. Anything less than that is going to be a huge failure. These teams tank to get an MVP player on their team. That's what the Bucks have, and they got to do everything they can to fix that situation. Obviously, the biggest problem for the Bucks right now is two things, really. It's depth, and that depth problem becomes even worse because of the other problem, the injury to Damian Lillard. Now, a lot of people are out there, a lot of national pundits, all the nationals are talking about where's Giannis going to go? Where's Giannis going to go? Well, guess what? Giannis is under contract for 2 more seasons at least, and 3 years from now is a player option. So he may choose to just opt in and stay in Milwaukee or get a long-term deal. Giannis is, I believe, 31 years old, or 30 now, 31 next season, whatever it is. He's going to want to get a long-term deal, and he can get the most money with Milwaukee, but he's going to only want to stay there if they have a stable situation. Well, the Utah Jazz can provide the Milwaukee Bucks a stable situation and allow them to retool for the next 4 or 5 years with this trade. So what this trade does is it trades Damian Lillard to the Utah Jazz. All that $40+ million goes to the Utah Jazz. They bring on Damian Lillard, who is obviously injured with an Achilles. His career might honestly be over. So it brings him to Utah. Utah then sends John Collins and Colin Sexton to the Milwaukee Bucks. And in return, the Utah Jazz get the 2031 unprotected pick from the Milwaukee Bucks. The reason the Bucks do this is, one, they get off that money from Lillard. Yes, it costs them a first-round pick, but is it worth an unprotected pick to keep Giannis Antetokounmpo? Absolutely. If that makes him happy, if that puts players around him that allow them to compete again next year and do better than they did this year, because to be honest, they struggled because Damian Lillard was injured in the playoffs and was injured at the beginning of the season. So this helps them get some depth on their team, 2 starting caliber players that can play on the team. And on top of that, John Collins and Colin Sexton, if they like those players, they can re-sign them long term, but both of them are on expiring deals. So let's say they bring in John Collins, Colin Sexton, they have a good season next year. Maybe they're able to make something else happen with someone else. John Collins and Colin Sexton, their money falls off the books, so they can go into free agency and go get a nice free agent when Giannis is in that last year of his deal before his player option. They can go get someone that can convince Giannis to stay in free agency. All that money, that $40+ million, they can offer to someone else. I believe Kuzma's money may fall off around there as well. They may have big time free agency money to lure someone over to Milwaukee to play with Giannis. It saves the team. Guys, for the Jazz, they've been trying to trade John Collins and Colin Sexton for the last 2 seasons because Utah wants to tank, and you can bet that they are going to try and tank next year as well. They only keep their pick next year if it is in the bottom 8. If it is not in the bottom 8, it goes to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And if there's one thing that we've learned as Jazz fans this year, it is very important to get as low as you can in the lottery, not just to improve your odds. Obviously, if you're in the bottom 3, you have the same odds for the number 1 pick as the other 2 bottom 3 teams. That's going to get you the best odds to get the number 1 pick, but it's not that much better than those around you. But what it does do is it allows you to stay at a certain level. Wherever you are in the lottery, you can only drop down 4 spots. So if Utah can at least be at like the number 4 spot, it keeps their pick in Utah. So Utah is going to have to do more losing next year to keep their pick, and it is absolutely worth it. There are 4 prospects in this upcoming draft that could possibly compete for the number 1 pick in this one. Yes, with Cooper Flagg. That's how good next year's draft it is. It is absolutely worth it to have the worst record in the NBA again, and trading John Collins and Colin Sexton helps them do that because they had phenomenal seasons for the Jazz these last 2 years. John Collins, if he played the whole year, would have had votes for most improved player. He was awesome last season, looked like the best player for the Jazz at times. And he would fit perfectly with Giannis, with his ability to rebound, his shooting. They could put him kind of with Giannis in a front court that they can spread the floor, rebound. Giannis can play kind of a hybrid center forward role as well as John Collins. He fits perfectly next to Giannis. And then Colin Sexton as well is a underrated three-point shooter, shoots at around 40% from 3. He has improved as a passer with the Utah Jazz, plays well within the Jazz system, and he could play off of Giannis. At worst, he's an incredible 6th man for the Milwaukee Bucks, provides that depth that they need, or offense on the offensive end. Playing off of a superstar is a perfect role for Colin Sexton, as well as John Collins. They would fit perfectly with Giannis. Yes, they give up a first-round pick, but it's worth it to keep Giannis. And then Utah can lose. So Utah has every reason to try and tank next year to get a top 5 pick. It's an incredible draft. It helps both teams immensely. And then Utah can go out, and if they want to shop Lauri Markkanen, they can, and get even more offers. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments about the trade. Shout out to the All-Stars and all the members of the channel. I will talk to you next time.